I'm scrolling through social media and I see a photo that stops my heart. My daughter, my Rachel, at a family gathering, someone's birthday party. The post is from her mother-in-law. The caption reads, "So blessed to have Rachel as a daughter. She's the daughter I never had." I stare at those words. The daughter I never had. Rachel is standing between her husband and his mother, arms around both of them, smiling, looking happier than I've seen her look in years. I'm not in the photo. I wasn't invited to this gathering. I didn't even know it was happening. I raised Rachel alone from the time she was 2 years old. Her father left us with nothing. I worked 3 jobs to keep us fed, to keep a roof over our heads. I sacrificed everything. My youth, my health, my chance at a life of my own. Everything went to her, and now she has a new family, a better family, a family with money and status and all the things I could never give her. A family she chose over me. My daughter chose her husband's family over me, and I don't know if I'll ever stop bleeding from that choice. Let me tell you about the girl I raised alone, and the woman who decided I wasn't good enough to be her mother anymore. Rachel's father left when she was 2. No warning, no explanation. Came home one day and found a note. "I can't do this anymore. I need more from life. You and Rachel deserve someone better. We deserved someone better. We just didn't get anyone at all." I was 25, had a 2-year-old, no family to help. My parents had died in an accident when I was 19. I was completely alone, single mother with no support system, no money, just me and Rachel. I worked as a housekeeper, cleaned rich people's homes, scrubbed their toilets, washed their floors, organized their closets. I'd see how they lived, the excess, the waste, the casual wealth, and I'd go home to our tiny apartment where I counted pennies to buy groceries. I picked up 2nd and 3rd jobs, waitressing at night, cleaning offices on weekends. I'd drop Rachel at a neighbor's house, an older woman who charged me almost nothing because she pitied us. Rachel would stay there 12, 14 hours sometimes. I'd come home exhausted, hold my baby girl, try to give her the love she deserved even when I had nothing left to give. We struggled, really struggled. There were nights I didn't eat so Rachel could have a full meal. Months I had to choose between electric and heat. Christmases where her presents were dollar store toys wrapped in newspaper because I couldn't afford wrapping paper. But I made sure Rachel never felt poor, never felt less than. I'd tell her stories, create adventures, make our tiny apartment feel magical. We'd have indoor picnics, build forts from blankets. I'd read her library books until she fell asleep. "We don't have much, baby, but we have each other. And that's enough," she'd nod. Hug me tight. "I love you, Mommy." Rachel was a sweet kid, helpful, understanding. She'd see me tired and bring me her stuffed bear. "For you, Mommy, to make you feel better." When she started school, I saw the difference. The other kids had nice clothes, new backpacks, fancy lunch boxes. Rachel had hand-me-downs from thrift stores, a backpack I'd found at a yard sale, sandwiches in plastic bags because I couldn't afford a lunchbox. She never complained, never asked for things we couldn't afford. She was so good about it, too good, like she knew without me saying that we didn't have money. That asking would only make me feel worse. I worked so hard, took every shift, saved every penny. By the time Rachel was in middle school, things were slightly better. Not good, but better. We could afford heat and electric. She had decent clothes. We ate every day. But we were still poor, still struggling, still different from everyone else. Rachel started getting quieter, more withdrawn. She'd come home from school and go straight to her room. When I'd ask what was wrong, she'd say nothing. But I knew. I saw the looks she got, heard the comments from other kids about her cheap clothes, her cheap everything. "Baby, it doesn't matter what they think, but it does. Mom, it matters to me." "Why?" "Because I'm tired of being the poor kid. I'm tired of wearing old clothes and never having what everyone else has. I'm tired of being embarrassed." Embarrassed of what? Of us, of how we live. Those words cut deep. My daughter was embarrassed of our life, of the life I'd worked myself to the bone to provide. I tried to understand, tried not to take it personally. She was a teenager. Teenagers are cruel to each other. She just wanted to fit in. One day things will be better, I told her. One day you'll have opportunities I never had. You'll go to college, get a good job, have the life you want. How? We can't even afford college. We'll figure it out. Student loans, scholarships, whatever it takes. She didn't look convinced. High school was hard for Rachel. She was smart but had to work while going to school, helped me with bills, worked retail on weekends. She'd see her classmates going to parties, taking trips, living carefree teenage lives. While she was working, always working, I felt guilty. Guilty that my daughter didn't have a childhood, that she had to grow up too fast. That poverty stole her joy. I'm sorry, I'd tell her sometimes. I'm sorry I can't give you more. It's not your fault. Mom, you're doing your best. But I could hear the resentment underneath, the wish that her best was better. Rachel got into college, state school, got some financial aid, but not enough. We took out loans, so many loans. I took extra shifts to help cover what the loans didn't. Rachel worked full-time while going to school full-time. She studied business, wanted to make money, wanted to never be poor again. That's what she said. I'm going to make money, Mom, real money. And I'm never going back to how we lived. I understood, but it hurt to hear. Like our whole life together was just something to escape from. During college, Rachel changed and became more focused on appearances, on status. She'd talk about her classmates who came from money, their families, their connections, how easy life was for them. Must be nice, she'd say bitterly, to have parents who can pay for everything, to not worry about money, to just exist without constantly calculating costs. You're going to graduate, get a good job, you'll have that stability. It's not the same. They've always had it. I had to fight for everything. After graduation, Rachel got a job at a marketing firm. Good salary, better than anything I'd ever made. She got her own apartment, nice place, way nicer than anywhere we'd ever lived. I was proud, so proud. My baby girl had made it, had escaped poverty, had built a life, but she started visiting less, calling less. When I'd call her, she'd be busy. When I'd ask to visit, she'd say her place was small, not set up for guests. Maybe next time. Next time never came. Then she met Andrew. Andrew came from money, real money. His family owned multiple businesses, lived in a mansion, vacationed in Europe. He was everything Rachel had always wanted. Wealthy, connected, successful. She was obsessed with him from the start. Would gush about him, about his family, about their house, their lifestyle, everything she'd never had growing up. Mom, you should see their house. It's like a castle. And they're so sophisticated, so cultured. They go to the opera. They know about wine. They travel constantly. It's amazing. He sounds great. Honey, when can I meet him? Soon. Once things get more serious. 6 months into dating, she brought him to meet me. I'd cleaned my apartment top to bottom, cooked a nice dinner with money I didn't have, wanted to make a good impression. Andrew was polite, distant. He looked around my apartment with barely concealed judgment. I saw him notice the mismatched furniture, the old appliances, the worn carpet. I saw him see my poverty. Rachel seemed nervous, almost embarrassed. She kept apologizing. Sorry it's so small. Sorry the neighborhood isn't great. Sorry about everything. She was apologizing for me, for our life. To him, after they left, I cried. My daughter was ashamed of me, of where she came from. She'd brought this wealthy man to meet me, and spent the whole time apologizing for my existence. When I talked to her about it later, she got defensive. I wasn't apologizing for you. I just wanted him to understand our background, where I came from. You made it sound like you were ashamed. I'm not ashamed. I'm just realistic. His family has certain expectations, certain standards. I need him to see I can fit into that world even though I didn't come from it. By pretending you didn't come from me, that's not what I'm doing. But it was. That's exactly what she was doing. The engagement happened fast. 6 months after I met Andrew, They were engaged. Big ring, expensive. The wedding planning started immediately. Andrew's mother, Victoria, took over everything. I wasn't included. Victoria would make decisions. Rachel would agree. I'd find out after the fact. What about the flowers? I'd ask. Already chosen. Victoria knows a florist. What about the dress? Found one. Victoria took me shopping. Can I help with anything? It's all handled. Mom, Victoria's really good at this stuff. Victoria this. Victoria that. I was being replaced by Andrew's mother. The mother with money. With taste. With everything I didn't have. I tried to talk to Rachel about it. I'm your mother. I should be part of this. You are part of it. You're invited. Invited, Rachel. I'm your mother. Not a guest. I know that. But Victoria is paying for everything. She gets to make the decisions. I could help pay. I've been saving. She looked at me. Really looked at me. And I saw it in her eyes. Pity, Mom. Victoria's budget for flowers is probably more than you've saved. It's sweet that you want to help. But this wedding is expensive. Really expensive. You can't afford it. So I'm just supposed to sit back and watch someone else plan my daughter's wedding? Yes, because that's reality. I'm marrying into a family with money. A family that can give me everything I never had growing up. I'm not going to apologize for that. The wedding was extravagant. Hundreds of guests, most I didn't know. I sat in the third row, behind Andrew's extended family, behind Rachel's college friends, behind people who barely knew her. Victoria sat front row, in the mother of the bride spot, wore a dress that cost more than my rent. When people asked her about Rachel, she'd say, she's like the daughter I never had. So grateful she's joining our family. I watched my daughter marry Andrew. Watched her beam at Victoria. Watched her hug Andrew's father. Watched her fit seamlessly into their world. I barely got 5 minutes with her the entire night. After the wedding, things got worse. They moved into a house. Andrew's parents bought it for them. Wedding present, a whole house. More than I'd ever been able to give her in her entire life. Rachel stopped calling. Stopped visiting. When I'd reach out, she was busy. Always busy. Dinners with Andrew's family. Events with Andrew's friends. Charity galas. Country club gatherings. A whole life that didn't include me. I'd see photos on social media. Rachel with Victoria. Shopping together. Having lunch together. Going to spa days together. Rachel smiling, happy, living the life she'd always wanted. Without me. I tried to visit. Showed up at her house once. Rang the doorbell. Andrew answered. Looked surprised. Oh hi, we weren't expecting you. I know, I should have called. I just wanted to see Rachel. See the house. He hesitated. Rachel's actually at a charity committee meeting with my mother. They'll be gone a few hours. Oh, can I wait? I mean, you could. But they might be late. And then we have dinner plans. Maybe another time. I left. Drove home crying. I'd raised that girl alone. Sacrificed everything. And now I needed an appointment to see her. I called her that night. Why didn't you tell me you were busy today? I didn't know you were coming. I wanted to surprise you. Mom, you can't just show up. I have a schedule. You need to call first. Since when do I need permission to visit my daughter? Since I have a life that doesn't revolve around you. I'm married. I have responsibilities. You can't expect me to drop everything whenever you decide to show up. I'm not asking you to drop everything. I'm asking for a few minutes. A few minutes with my daughter, and I'm saying you need to respect my time. Call first. We'll schedule something. Schedule. I needed to schedule time with my own daughter. Months went by. I'd call, leave messages. She'd text back, busy. Talk soon. I stopped calling as much. Stopped trying. It hurt too much to be constantly rejected. Then I saw the photo. The one I mentioned at the start. Rachel with Victoria. The caption about being the daughter she never had. And I realized what had happened. My daughter had found a replacement mother. A better mother. One with money and connections and everything I couldn't provide. And she'd chosen her. Chosen Victoria over me. I stared at that photo for hours. Looked at my daughter's smile. So genuine. So happy. happier than I'd seen her in years, maybe happier than I'd ever made her. And I had to ask myself the hard question. Was she better off without me? Was Victoria actually a better mother than I was? Could money and status give her something I never could? I didn't have answers. Just pain. Deep, aching pain that my daughter had decided I wasn't enough, that the woman who raised her in poverty wasn't as valuable as the woman who bought her expensive gifts. I tried one more time. Sent her a long email. Told her how much I missed her. How hurt I was. How I felt replaced. Begged her to make time for me. To remember where she came from. To remember me. She responded 3 days later. Short reply. Mom, I'm not replacing you, but I need to build a life with Andrew. Be part of his family. Victoria has been very welcoming. Very generous. She treats me like a daughter because she never had one. That doesn't mean I love you less. It just means I have more people in my life now. You should be happy for me. I finally have the family I always wanted. The family that can give me things. You need to accept that. The family I always wanted. The family that can give me things. I wasn't enough. Never had been. She'd spent her whole childhood resenting our poverty. Resenting me for not being able to provide more. And now she had a family that could. So she chose them. I didn't respond to the email. What was there to say? She'd made her choice clear. A year passed. I'd see updates on social media. Rachel pregnant. Rachel at fancy events. Rachel with Victoria at a spa. At restaurants. At the country club. Always together. Always happy. I wasn't invited to the baby shower. Found out about it on social media. Photos of Rachel surrounded by Andrew's family and their friends. Victoria hosting. Playing the doting mother-in-law. Playing the grandmother-to-be. My granddaughter was born. I found out 2 days later via text. Had the baby. Everyone's healthy. Not a call, a text. 2 days after, I asked if I could visit. Give us a few weeks. We're adjusting. A few weeks became 2 months. I finally just showed up at the hospital nursery. Looked through the glass at my granddaughter. Couldn't even hold her. Wasn't on the approved visitor list. A nurse saw me. Are you family? I'm the grandmother. Oh, let me check the list. She looked. I don't see your name. You'll need to contact the parents to get added. I wasn't on the list. To see my own granddaughter because Rachel hadn't added me. I called her. Why am I not on the visitor list? Mom, we kept it small. Just immediate family. I am immediate family. I'm your mother. You know what I mean. Andrew's parents are here all the time helping. It's easier to just have them on the list. And I'm not helping because you won't let me. Because you live too far. And you work. Victoria is retired. She has time. She's been amazing. Victoria. Always Victoria. I hung up, sat in my car in that hospital parking lot and sobbed. My daughter had completely erased me from her life, replaced me with a woman who could buy her nice things, who had time and money and everything I never had. And I couldn't even be angry at Victoria. She hadn't stolen my daughter. Rachel had chosen this. Had chosen money and status over the woman who raised her alone, who sacrificed everything, who loved her more than life itself. I was disposable. That's what I'd learned. I was useful when Rachel was young and needed raising. But now that she had a better option, I wasn't needed anymore. 2 years passed. 2 years of minimal contact. Brief texts on my birthday. On Christmas. Photos of my granddaughter I'd see online but never in person. A whole life happening without me. Then my phone rang. Late at night. Rachel. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Mom. Her voice was wrong, shaking, scared. Rachel, what's wrong? Can you come? Please. I need you. Where are you? Home, please. I need my mom. I drove to her house faster than I should have. Broke speed limits. Ran red lights. Something in her voice terrified me. Arrived to find her sitting on the front steps, alone, crying, hair messy, still in pajamas. It was 3 in the afternoon. I ran to her. What happened? Is the baby okay? She's fine. She's with Victoria. She looked up at me, face streaked with tears. Andrew left. He left us. What? He's been having an affair. with someone from work, someone younger. He told me yesterday. Said he's not in love with me anymore. That marrying me was a mistake. He's moving out, filing for divorce. I sat down next to her, put my arm around her. She collapsed into me, sobbing, the kind of sobs that shake your whole body. I'm so sorry, baby. I gave up everything for him. Everything I gave up, ... double quotes. She trailed off, couldn't finish. But I knew, she'd given me up for him, for his family, for this life. Where's Victoria now? At her house. With the baby. She said she needed time to process. That this is humiliating for the family. That I must have done something to drive Andrew away. She blamed you. She said I wasn't enough. That I didn't come from the right background. That deep down, I was always going to be too different from them. She said maybe it's for the best. That Andrew can find someone more suitable. She said that while you're falling apart. She took the baby and left. Said she'd bring her back tomorrow. But Mom, she's talking about custody. About how Andrew should have primary custody because he can provide better. Because their family can give my daughter things I can't. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. Victoria was using the same argument Rachel had used against me. Money, status, providing better. And now Rachel was on the other side. The side without money, without status, just a mother trying to keep her child. We'll fight this. We'll get a lawyer. With what money Andrew controlled our finances. The house is his. The cars are his. Everything is in his name or his parents' name. I have nothing, Mom. I'm about to have nothing. Again. She looked at me. Really looked at me, and I saw recognition dawn in her eyes. She was becoming me. The single mother with nothing. The woman she'd spent her adult life trying not to be. I'm sorry, she whispered. Mom, I'm so sorry. I was terrible to you. I chose them over you. I was ashamed of you. Of us, of everything. And now I'm exactly where you were. Alone. With a baby. With nothing. You're not alone. You have me. Why? After everything I did. After how I treated you. Why would you help me? Because you're my daughter. That doesn't change, she cried harder. I don't deserve you. Maybe not. But I'm here anyway. Over the next few weeks, I helped Rachel however I could. Helped her find a lawyer. Helped with the baby when Victoria reluctantly returned her. Helped her figure out her finances. It was bad. Andrew had convinced her to quit her job after the baby was born. Said she didn't need to work, that he'd take care of everything. So she had no income, no recent work history. She'd become completely financially dependent on him. Just like Victoria wanted. A compliant daughter-in-law with no power. No options. The divorce was ugly. Andrew's family had expensive lawyers. They painted Rachel as a gold digger who'd trapped Andrew. Who'd never really fit into their world. Who wasn't a suitable mother because she couldn't provide the life their granddaughter deserved. Rachel fought. But she was fighting with nothing. No money, no resources. Just a court-appointed lawyer who was overwhelmed and underpaid. I might lose her mom. I might lose my baby. We won't let that happen. I did something I swore I'd never do. I took out loans, borrowed against my retirement. Used money I didn't have to hire Rachel, a better lawyer. A lawyer who could actually fight Andrew's family lawyers. Mom, no. You can't afford this. I'll manage. But your retirement, your future, you're sacrificing everything. Isn't that what mothers do? She looked at me, and for the first time in years, I saw my daughter. Not the woman trying to be someone else, but my Rachel, the girl I'd raised. I'm so sorry, she said again. I'm sorry for everything. For being ashamed. For choosing them. For pushing you away. For being exactly the kind of person who'd hurt you the way I did. You deserved better. You deserved a daughter who appreciated your sacrifices, who loved you for who you were instead of resenting you for what you couldn't provide. I know. Can you forgive me? I was quiet for a long moment, thinking about the past few years, the hurt, the rejection, the replacement. Watching my daughter choose another woman as her mother. Watching her erase me from her life. I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe eventually, but right now, I'm still hurt, still angry. Still processing what you did to me. That's fair. But I'm still here, because you need me. And because even though you didn't choose me, I'm still your mother. That doesn't go away. The custody battle took months. Rachel slowly got back on her feet. Got a job. Found an apartment. Nothing fancy. Nothing like what she'd had with Andrew. But hers. Built by her. She won partial custody, not full. But more than Andrew's family wanted. Enough. Victoria stopped returning Rachel's calls. Stopped pretending to care about being a grandmother. She'd gotten what she wanted. A daughter-in-law for a while. But Rachel wasn't useful anymore. Wasn't married to Andrew anymore. So Victoria moved on. Rachel finally understood what I'd known all along. Victoria's love was conditional. Based on what Rachel could do for the family. Based on status and appearance and maintaining the image. When Rachel was no longer useful, she was discarded. Just like Rachel had discarded me. She's exactly what you said she was. Rachel told me one day. Someone who loved what I represented, not who I was, and I gave up my real mother for her. The mother who loved me no matter what, no matter how poor we were, no matter how hard things got. You loved me, and I threw that away. Yes, you did. Can we fix this? Can we fix us? I don't know. You hurt me deeply, Rachel. You made me feel worthless. Like I wasn't enough. Like everything I sacrificed meant nothing because I couldn't buy you nice things. I know, and I was wrong. So wrong. Money doesn't make someone a good mother. Love does. Presence does. Sacrifice does. You were an amazing mother. I just couldn't see it. Why not? Because I was so focused on what I didn't have that I never appreciated what I did have. I had a mother who loved me, who worked herself to the bone for me, who made me feel safe and loved even when we had nothing. But I was too busy being angry about being poor to recognize how rich I actually was. She started crying again. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I held her while she cried. My daughter, my complicated, flawed, human daughter, who'd hurt me more than I thought possible, who'd chosen money over me, who'd learned the hardest way that money can't buy what actually matters. I need time, I said. Time to trust you again. Time to rebuild what you broke. Whatever you need. However long it takes. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. And she didn't. Over the next year, Rachel showed up. Really showed up. Called regularly. Visited with the baby. Included me in her life. Not out of obligation. Not because she needed something. But because she wanted to. She introduced me to her daughter. Properly. Let me hold her. Let me be grandma. Included me in birthdays and holidays. Made me part of her life again. It wasn't perfect. I was still hurt. Still working through the pain. But we were trying. Both of us. One day, about a year after Andrew left, Rachel came over with the baby. We were sitting on my couch. The baby was playing with toys on the floor. And Rachel turned to me. I need to tell you something. I ran into Victoria last week. At the store, she saw me. Saw the baby. She came over like nothing had happened. Asked how we were. Said she'd been meaning to call. Said maybe we could have lunch sometime. Reconnect. What did you say? I said no. I told her that when I needed her, when I was going through the divorce, she disappeared. She only cared about me when I was married to her son. When I was useful to her family. But I have a mother. A real mother. One who shows up when things are hard, not just when they're easy. And I didn't need a replacement. I started crying. Couldn't help it. I should have said that years ago. Rachel continued. Should have told her that my mother was the woman who raised me, who sacrificed for me, who loved me unconditionally. Not the woman who bought me expensive gifts and took me to fancy events. You're my mother. You've always been my mother. I'm sorry it took losing everything to remember that. We sat there together. My daughter, my granddaughter, my family. Not fancy. Not rich. Not the life Rachel once thought she wanted. But real. Based on love instead of money. On presence instead of status. I don't know if I'll ever fully forgive what she did. How she made me feel. The years I lost with her. But I know we're trying. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all we can do. Try. Show up. Love each other despite the hurt. My daughter chose her husband's family over me. She chose money and status and everything she thought she wanted, and it cost her everything. But in losing it all, she found what actually mattered. She found her way back to me. Back to love that doesn't come with conditions. Back to family that doesn't disappear when times get hard. It's not the ending I would have written, but it's the one we have, and we're making it work. One day at a time. I raised my daughter alone in poverty, sacrificing everything. My daughter resented that poverty, choosing a wealthy family over her own mother. It took losing that wealth to recognize what she'd thrown away. Not every story of abandonment ends in reconciliation, but when it does, it requires the parent to have a strength most of us can't imagine. The strength to love someone who didn't love them back, to help someone who rejected them, to be a mother even when their child chose not to be a daughter. That's the kind of love that changes people. That teaches lessons no amount of money can buy. If this story resonates, subscribe. Tell me in the comments, have you been chosen last by someone you put first? Have you chosen status over substance and regretted it? Share your story, your pain, your wisdom. Share this with someone navigating complicated family dynamics. Maybe someone who needs to remember that real love doesn't have a price tag. Like if you believe true wealth is measured in relationships, not bank accounts. Turn on notifications for more stories that matter. Thank you for being here. And remember, the people who love you when you have nothing are the ones who love you for real. Until next time.